Do you know that feeling of looking at your house and feeling a weight on your chest because there's so much stuff piled up that you don't even know where to begin? Well, what if I told you that in just 1 month, you can completely transform your home, making it lighter, more organized, and much easier to clean by dedicating only a few minutes a day? It sounds too good to be true, but it's not. The secret lies in a simple strategy that anyone can follow, and best of all, without having to do that heavy weekend cleaning that's exhausting just thinking about it. I'm talking about getting rid of just 30 items a day for 30 days. That's right, 30 items that you don't even use anymore, that only take up space and make your cleaning routine much more complicated than it should be. At the end of this period, you will have eliminated almost 1,000 things from your house. 1,000 things that only accumulate dust, hinder organization, and make you waste time every time you need to clean or look for something. And the most incredible thing is that this process is so simple that anyone can do it, even those who think they don't have the time or energy for big changes. Throughout this video, I'll show you exactly how to apply this method in practice, which areas of the house to start with first, how to make quick decisions about what to discard, and how to keep your home light after you're finished. If you stay until the end, you'll also discover a special trick to never accumulate unnecessary things again. So take a deep breath, because your home is about to become much lighter and more functional. Tip 1. Start with the places you use every day. The first thing you need to understand is that it's no use starting with the attic, the basement, or that closet that no one has opened in years. Why? Because those places don't make a difference in your daily life. You need to start with the spaces you use every day, the ones that truly impact your routine. Think about the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, and the living room. These are the places where you spend most of your time, and they are precisely the ones that get cluttered most easily. When you start with these areas, the results appear quickly. In just a few days, you'll already feel the difference. The kitchen counter becomes clearer, the bathroom cabinet easier to organize, the linen drawer more accessible. And you know what happens when you see quick results? You get motivated to continue. It's like when you start a diet and lose a few pounds in the first week. That gives you the energy to keep going. The same thing happens here. Furthermore, by focusing on the places you use daily, you eliminate precisely the items that most hinder your routine. That cake pan you never use, but is always in the way when you open the cupboard. That expired cream taking up space on your bathroom shelf. That extra blanket you keep but never take out. All of that goes away, and your life becomes simpler. Another important benefit is that you learn to make quick decisions. At first, it might take you a while to decide what stays or goes. But as the days go by, you get the hang of it. You start to realize that most of the things we keep really aren't necessary. And then the process becomes faster and more natural. So write this down. In the first few days, focus on the kitchen. Get rid of 30 items. It could be that tinted pan, those lightless containers, those duplicate utensils you have 3 of the same. Then go to the bathroom. Half-used beauty products, samples you'll never use, old towels, all of that counts. And don't be afraid to be honest with yourself. If you haven't used it in the last 6 months, you probably never will again. That's the golden rule. When you start in the right places, the whole process becomes easier, faster, and much more efficient. Tip 2. Create 3. Simple boxes to organize the process. Now that you know where to start, you need a method to avoid getting lost along the way. Here's a strategy that works very well. Separate 3 large boxes or bags and assign a purpose to each one. The first box is for donations, the second is for the trash, and the third is for items that still have value and can be sold. That's it. Nothing complicated. When you have these 3 options clearly in front of you, it becomes much easier to make decisions. You pick up an object and already know where it's going. You don't get stuck in that eternal doubt that makes you give up halfway through the process. And believe me, clarity is everything when it comes to organization. Let's talk first about the donation box. This one is for everything that's in good condition but that you no longer use. Clothes that don't fit, books you've already read, pots and pans that are good but you have better ones. Many people need these things, so don't be ashamed to donate. You're doing good for yourself and for someone else at the same time. The second box is for the trash. Things that are broken, stained, expired, or spoiled. There's no point in trying to save everything. Some things have already served their purpose and now need to go, and that's okay. You're not being wasteful, you're just being realistic. Keeping broken things only takes up space and makes your life more difficult. The third box is for selling. Here go the items that still have market value. It could be that electronic device you no longer use, that expensive ornament that doesn't match your current decor, that appliance that's new, but you received another one as a gift. These things can become extra money, so it's worth separating them. Later, you can sell them in sales groups, apps, or even have a yard sale. The important thing is that you make the decision quickly. Pick up the item, evaluate it in 3 seconds, and put it in the right box. Without overthinking, without making excuses, without saving it to decide later. Because if you leave it for later, you'll end up saving it again and going back to square one. And there's one more important thing. Set a deadline for emptying these boxes. Discard the trash box on the same day or the next day. The donation box should be taken to an institution or left at a collection point within a week at most. The sale box should be advertised within 10 days. If it doesn't sell quickly, it can be donated and that's it. Don't let these boxes become just another mess in your house. Tip 3. Start slowly so you don't get discouraged. Many people get excited at the beginning and want to do everything at once. Then they spend an entire Saturday, turn the house upside down, get tired, and give up on Monday. Don't do that. The secret to this challenge is consistency, not intensity. You don't need to spend hours organizing. In fact, it's better if you don't. 15 to 20 minutes a day is more than enough. It seems like little, I know, but believe me, it makes a huge difference. Think about it this way. If you dedicate 15 minutes every day for a month, you will have dedicated more than 7 hours to organizing your house. Now imagine if you try to do everything in a single day. You will get tired, frustrated, and probably give up before you finish. Furthermore, when you do a little every day, you don't feel the weight of having to face a mountain of work. It's just a small task that fits easily into your routine. It could be in the morning after breakfast, or in the afternoon before dinner, or at night before bed. You choose the best time and turn it into a habit. Another advantage of going slowly is that you have time to adjust to the change. Because letting go isn't just a physical matter, it's also an emotional one. We cling to things, even when they no longer serve any purpose. When you take it slow, you give your brain time to process and accept that it's okay to get rid of them. And there's more. Going slowly avoids that feeling of regret. You know when you throw away a bunch of stuff at once, and then you're left with that nagging feeling. That doesn't happen when you do it little by little. You make more conscious, calmer decisions, and in the end, you don't regret anything. To really start slowly, set very small goals. On the first day, you might only be able to separate 10 items instead of 30. That's okay. The important thing is to start. On the second day, you'll get the hang of it and manage the 30 more easily. And from then on, it will become more and more natural. You'll see that after a week, you'll be on autopilot, separating things without even thinking too much. Now, before I show you the next tip, I need to ask you a favor. If you're enjoying the video so far, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next ones. And take the opportunity to comment below where you're watching from. I love knowing who's on the other side of the screen. Go ahead quickly and come back soon, because there's much more good stuff coming soon. Tip 4. Turn this into a fun game. Let's be honest, organizing and discarding things isn't exactly the most exciting activity in the world. But you know what makes it easier? Turning it into a game. It might sound silly, but it really works. When you add an element of fun to the process, everything becomes lighter and you don't feel like you're doing a boring chore. There are several ways to do this. One is to put on some upbeat music while you sort the items. Put on that playlist you like, sing along, dance a little. Time flies by and you don't even realize you've already sorted the 30 items for the day. Another idea is to have a competition with yourself. For example, try to beat the speed record. How long does it take you to find and sort 30 things? On the first day, maybe 20 minutes. On the second, try to do it in 15. It's a silly challenge, but it keeps you motivated. You can also involve other people in the house. If you live with family, turn it into a joint activity. Each person sorts their 30 items for the day. Whoever finishes first wins a symbolic prize. It could be choosing the movie for the night, or choosing dinner, anything. The important thing is that everyone participates and the whole house feels lighter. Another great strategy is to take before and after photos. On the first day, take a picture of that messy closet. After a few days of sorting items, take another picture. The visual difference is incredible and gives you a lot of motivation to continue. You see with your own eyes the progress you are making, and that is very powerful. Some people like to make a list and mark the days. They make a 30-day calendar, and every time they meet a goal, they mark an X or put a colored sticker. It's simple, but it gives that feeling of accomplishment that fuels your motivation. And don't underestimate the power of rewarding yourself. Every week, do something you enjoy. It could be watching your favorite show without guilt, having that special snack, or simply taking some time to relax, knowing that you are achieving your goal. These small rewards are fuel to keep you going strong. Tip 5. Use the 6-month rule. This tip is pure gold and will solve many of your doubts when deciding what stays and what goes. The rule is simple. If you haven't used an item in the last 6 months, it can go. Problem solved. Of course, there are exceptions like winter clothes if it's summer or specific party decorations. But for most things in the house, this rule works perfectly. Think about it. 6 months is half a year. If you haven't needed it in all that time, it means your life works very well without that object. It's not essential. It doesn't make a difference. It just takes up space. And space is a precious resource in your home. The more things you have, the harder it is to clean, the harder it is to organize, the harder it is to find what you really need. Applying this rule also frees you from a lot of guilt, because many times we keep things out of guilt. That gift someone gave you that you don't use but feel bad about donating. That expensive outfit you bought but never wore. That appliance that cost money but has been sitting unused for months. The 6-month rule gives you a rational justification for getting rid of these things. It's not that you're ungrateful or wasteful. It's just that you're being practical and honest with the reality of your life. Let's take some practical examples. That special cake pan you bought excitedly but only used once. Has it been more than 6 months? Then it can go. Those books on the shelf that you said you were going to read but never did. Have they been there for more than 6 months? Donate them to someone who will actually read them. That tool you bought for a specific repair and never used again. 6 months have passed. Sell or donate it. And there's a variation of this rule that also works well. The 1-year rule for seasonal items. For example, winter clothes. If the whole winter has passed and you haven't used that coat, it can go. If summer is over and you haven't worn that beach outfit, it can go too. The idea is that you keep only what is truly part of your current life, not the life you imagine having or the life you had in the past. And look, that doesn't mean you'll regret it later. In practice, we almost never miss what we get rid of. You know why? Because we didn't even remember we had it. If you went 6 months without using it, you probably won't even remember that item existed after it's gone. Tip 6. Organize by category, not by room. This tip might seem strange at first, but it makes all the difference. Instead of taking a room and trying to organize everything at once, you take a category of items and work with it. For example, one day you focus only on clothes, no matter which room they are in. Another day you focus only on books. Another day only on kitchen utensils. Do you understand the logic? Why does this work better? Because when you put together all the items of the same category, you realize how much of it you have. And often it's much more than you imagined. For example, you think you have few towels. But when you put all the towels in the house together, you realize you have 15. Then it becomes easy to see that you can get rid of at least 5 without any problem. The same goes for clothes, for pots and pans, for Tupperware, for anything. Seeing everything together opens your eyes to reality. Let's do a practical exercise. Choose a day to gather all the pens and pencils in the house. All of them. From the kitchen drawer, the bedroom, the living room, the office. Put everything on the table. You'll be shocked by the quantity. Now test each one to see which ones work. Discard the ones that no longer write, the ones that are dry, the ones that are broken. Keep only a reasonable amount, like 10 or 15. Donate or throw away the rest. There you go. You've just eliminated at least 20 items. It also works very well with clothes. Take all the t-shirts out of the closet at once. Put them on the bed. Look at that huge pile. Now separate the ones you actually use from the ones that are just taking up space. The stained ones, the faded ones, the ones that no longer fit, the ones you don't like. Put everything in a bag and take it to donate. You'll see that you always use the same 10 t-shirts. The rest is just weight and takes up space in the wardrobe. Another category that is well worth reviewing is cleaning products. Gather all the bottles, all the soaps, all the detergents. See what's been half empty for months. What you bought and never used. What's expired. Discard or donate what you won't use. Keep only the essentials, what you actually use in your routine. By organizing by category, you also avoid that feeling of doing the same thing over and over again. Because if you organize room by room, you end up dealing with the same types of items at different times. Then it becomes repetitive and tiring. By category, you do it only once, and that's it. You solve that problem once and for all. Tip 7. Don't keep broken or repairable items. This is a classic trap everyone falls into. We keep that broken chair because we think we'll fix it someday. We keep that broken appliance because we think we'll take it to the repair shop someday. We keep that torn piece of clothing because we think we'll sew it someday. And you know what happens? That day never comes. Meanwhile, these things just sit there taking up space, gathering dust, reminding you of yet another task you haven't done. It's a mental and physical burden. So here's a golden rule. If it's been broken for more than a month and you still haven't fixed it, throw it away. Simple as that. If it were truly important, you would have fixed it already. The fact that it's forgotten shows that it's not a priority in your life. And that's okay. Not everything needs to be repaired or reused. Sometimes something has already served its purpose and now needs to go. Think about the broken chair. You may have the sincere intention of fixing it, but in practice, it takes work. You have to buy materials, set aside time, have the skill. And while you don't do that, the chair stays there, getting in the way. It occupies space that could be free. It makes cleaning difficult because you have to walk around it. It becomes a constant reminder of something you didn't do, and that weighs you down. It's much better to get rid of it quickly and free up that space and mental energy. The same goes for clothes, those ripped pants you said you'd sew. How long has it been? If it's been more than a month, the chance of you actually sewing them is almost zero. And even if you do sew them, will you wear them? Often we repair things and then don't even wear them because we're tired of them. So it's a waste of time and energy. Better to donate or discard them quickly and move on. Electronic devices are another example. That fan that stopped working, that blender that burned out, that old cell phone that doesn't turn on anymore. Keeping these things doesn't make sense. If you really wanted to fix them, you would have already taken them to a repair shop. And often the repair costs almost the same as buying a new one, so why cling to them? Dispose of them properly in the right place for electronics, and that's it. Now, if you really want to fix something, do this. Give yourself a week. If you haven't fixed it in a week, discard it. No excuses, no procrastination. Either fix it right away or throw it away. This rule prevents you from accumulating broken things indefinitely. And believe me, when you get rid of these things, you feel an enormous relief. It's like taking a weight off your shoulders. Tip 8. Stop keeping things just because they were gifts. This tip might hurt a little at first, but it's liberating. We keep a lot of things we don't like, don't use, and don't need just because they were gifts. And then we feel guilty about getting rid of them. But let's think clearly. When someone gives you a gift, the gesture is what matters. The intention, the affection, the thought, not the object itself. When you accept the gift and thank them, you've already honored that gesture. From then on, what you do with the object is your business. If it no longer serves you, there's nothing wrong with donating or selling it. You're not being ungrateful. You're not disrespecting the giver. You're just being practical and honest with your life. Think about it this way. The person who gave you the gift wants you to be happy. If that object is bothering you, taking up space, causing you guilt, it's not fulfilling the purpose of a gift, which is to bring joy. So getting rid of it is actually the most sensible thing to do. Unless the person visits your house every week and specifically asks about that item, no one will even notice you don't have it anymore. And even if they do notice, you can simply say you needed to reorganize things, that you donated it to someone who needed it more, or that you passed it on. You don't need to lie or invent elaborate excuses. A simple and honest answer solves everything. Let's look at some examples. That ornament your mother-in-law gave you that you think is awful but keep because she might come and see it. You know what? She probably doesn't even remember giving it to you. And if she remembers and asks, you say you changed the decoration and passed it on to someone else who loved it. Done. That outfit a friend gave you as a gift, but that isn't your style. You'll never wear it. So why is it taking up space in your closet? Donate it to someone who will actually like and use it. You're doing good for someone else and freeing up your space. That book someone gave you, but you have no interest in reading, it just sits there collecting dust on the shelf. Donate it to a library or to someone who likes the subject. The book will truly fulfill its purpose instead of being left lying around your house. And there's something important. Keeping gifts you don't want doesn't honor the giver. In fact, it's a kind of prison. You become attached to an object out of obligation, not love. And that's not healthy. Free yourself and free the object too. Let it go to a place where it will be truly appreciated. Before we continue, let me tell you something quick. If you want to have a clean, organized, and fragrant home without wasting hours of your day or spending money on expensive products, I've prepared a complete guide with easy homemade recipes, a weekly checklist, and professional tricks that really work. The link is in the first pinned comment. Now let's continue with the video. Tip 9. Learn to differentiate what is useful from what is sentimental. This is one of the most difficult parts of the process, but also one of the most important. We often confuse sentimental value with real need. Just because something has a history doesn't mean you need to keep it forever. Of course, there are things worth keeping for emotional reasons. Your parents' wedding ring, that old photo, a special letter. But there's a huge difference between keeping a few truly meaningful things and keeping everything that has some memory associated with it. If you keep everything, your house becomes a museum full of objects you don't use, and that only complicates your life. The question you should ask yourself is, does this object bring me real joy when I look at it, or just guilt and weight? If the answer is the second, you can let it go. You don't need the physical object to keep the memory. The memory is in you, not in the thing. Let's talk about some practical examples. Clothes from when you were younger. Those jeans you wore on special occasions but haven't fit for years. You keep them because of the memories, but do you really need them? How about taking a picture of them if the memory is so important, and then donating them? The photo preserves the memory, but you free up physical space. Objects from relatives who have passed away. This is delicate, I know. But think of it this way. You don't need to keep all of the person's things to honor their memory. Keep one or two truly special pieces that you like to see and that make you smile. The rest, if it's not useful in your life, can go. The person you loved wouldn't want you to live tied to objects, carrying weight. They would want you to live light and happy. Travel souvenirs also fall into this category. Those souvenirs you buy because you were excited at the time, but that are later forgotten in a drawer. You don't look at them, you don't feel joy when you see them. They're just there because they're there. Discard them without fear. The memories of the trip remain alive in you, in the photos, in the stories. You don't need 15 refrigerator magnets from different places to remember that you traveled. A strategy that works well is to make a memory box. Just one box of medium size where the truly special items fit. Everything that fits in the box you keep. What doesn't fit, you need to decide if it's really that important. This physical limit forces you to choose what truly matters and not accumulate indiscriminately. And remember, letting go of objects isn't letting go of people or memories. It's just making conscious choices about the physical space you have and how you want to use it. Tip 10. Don't buy anything new during the challenge. This last tip is crucial to ensure that all your effort doesn't go to waste. During these 30 days of the challenge, make a pact with yourself not to buy anything that isn't essential. No buying new things just because they're on sale, just because they're cute, just because you thought they were cool at the time. Because if you're getting rid of 30 things a day, but buying 5 new things every day, in the end you haven't made any progress. Worse, you may have even increased the clutter. The goal of the challenge isn't just to get rid of things in the house. It's to change your relationship with consumption and with objects. It's about learning to live with less, to value what you have, to stop accumulating without thinking. And for that, you need to take a break from shopping. Of course, essential items don't fall under this rule. If you run out of soap, you buy soap. If you run out of food, you buy food. Nobody is saying you should go hungry. But that new outfit you don't need, that decorative ornament, that appliance you saw online, that can wait. In fact, at the end of the 30 days, you probably won't even want it anymore. Do you know why? Because you'll realize you live much better without those things, that your home is lighter, easier to care for, more pleasant without so much clutter. And then the desire to buy naturally diminishes. Taking a break from shopping also helps you identify patterns. You'll notice when you feel the urge to buy. Is it when you're bored, when you're sad, when you see an advertisement, when you pass by a store? Identifying these triggers is important for you to be able to control the impulse. Another thing that happens is that you start to value what you already have more. When you're always buying new things, objects lose value. They just become another item in the pile. But when you stop buying and focus on what you have, you start to use those things better, take better care of them, and get more out of them. And in the end, you realize you already have everything you need. During the challenge, if you get that strong urge to buy something, Write it down on a piece of paper. Write what it is, how much it costs, where you saw it. After 30 days, look at that list. You'll be surprised by the number of things you wanted and that you don't even remember why you want it today. This proves that most of our purchases are impulse buys, not purchases driven by real need. And by avoiding these purchases, you save money, save space, and save time. Because taking care of fewer things means less work. So during this challenge, resist the urge. Don't buy. Focus on getting rid of things, not on adding more. In the end, you'll thank yourself. We've reached the end, and look at all you've learned today. 30 items a day for 30 days may seem like a small number, but it's a huge transformation when you add it all up. Almost 1,000 objects leaving your house, 1,000 fewer things to clean, organize, and worry about. Your home will feel lighter, more functional, and easier to care for. And the best part is that you don't need to do anything extraordinary. You just need to dedicate a few minutes every day, be honest about what you actually use, and make conscious choices. Remember the main tips. Start with the places you use every day to see quick results and stay motivated. Use the 3 boxes to organize the process and avoid getting lost. Go slowly so you don't get discouraged and turn everything into a fun game. Apply the 6-month rule without mercy. Organize by category to get a real sense of what you have. Don't keep broken things that only take up space and cause guilt. Free yourself from gifts that don't make you happy. Learn to separate what is useful from what is just emotional baggage. And above all, stop buying new things while you're doing the challenge. These tips alone will completely change your home and your routine. But here's an extra challenge for those of you who stayed until the end. In addition to the 30 items a day, choose a room in your house and take a picture of it today. Save that picture. In 30 days, take another picture of the same place and compare. You'll be impressed by the difference. You'll see in practice how well this simple method works. And then come tell me in the comments. I want to know which room changed the most, which category of items was the hardest to discard, and what surprise you had in the process. Before I finish, I want to remind you of something important. If you want to have a house that's always clean, organized, and smells good without wasting hours of your day and without spending money on expensive products, I've prepared a complete guide with simple homemade recipes, a weekly checklist, and professional tricks that really work. The link is in the first pinned comment. It's worth checking out to transform your routine in a practical and economical way. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if this video helped you in any way, leave a like below. That really helps me continue bringing you quality content. Thanks for watching until the end. See you in the next video with more tips to make your life easier. Big hug and see you soon.